Welcome to Softcore History.
Welcome back to Softcore History. I'm your host for the week, Dan Regester, and I'm joined as always by Rob Fox and Jay Goldman.
Well, not as always, but
the boys are back in town.
No. It's ironic that you're singing that.
Do you know how many times I heard that this weekend?
Oh, he did it again?
Rob is finally back. Me and Jake are back from Arizona. Rob's baby is, I guess, okay.
Healthier.
Whatever.
Yay.
Hooray.
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 Seems like you should, in my mind, treat your baby like a Spartan. Should have left him out in the woods.
Leave it. Yeah, that's a real smart civilization. But fuck the ancient Greeks, by the way. It was such an overrated civilization. Like, they had like a cool 200 years, and then they spent the next like fucking 3,000 years being owned by other civilizations.
That's all it's going to
Because they got
happen to us.
soft.
That's all that's going to happen
baby.
to us, man.
They got soft. The Spartans were not even that hard to beat. The Athenians beat them all the time. You want to know why? Because it doesn't matter how many babies you leave in the woods that the wolves don't eat when you don't have a fucking economy.
And you're also killing
And you can't pay for a war.
You're killing your numbers.
Yeah, it doesn't help
Can't throw
either.
bodies at things when you don't have enough of them.
Yeah.
But the
Sparta
bodies
sucks.
hit the floor.
Of the pit.
And actually, today we're going to talk about fighting.
Yay.
Specifically, a fighting style back in the South in the 17 and 1800s.
Oh, God, is this a Mandingo episode?
It is not.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. It's like, man, we're really, between the Patreon and this,
Yeah.
it was going to be brutal.
As offensive as possible.
Yeah.
No, it is bad, though.
Hey, speaking of the Patreon, go check us out.
Yes.
Yeah, patreon.com/softcore history. What did we talk about this week, Rob?
We talked about, everyone's all big on the Holocaust.
Turns
But-
out we've been massacred forever.
Yeah, the Jews, it's not a new thing for them. And we talked about one of the bigger but basically unknown Jewish massacres in history, the Strasbourg Massacre of 1349, I believe. This was all with the Black Death. Believe it or not, the Jews got blamed for the Black Death.
Yeah.
and a lot of other things.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
And it's just kind of a clusterfuck of just incompetence that led to this almost.
A lot of really, massive incompetence that led to the Jews getting blamed for the Black Death.
I'm just saying, if you have a worst enemy, you're not going to hand them your wallet and be like, hey,
Right.
you better watch over that.
Yeah, you piece of shit.
Yeah, that's probably not the move.
No, but you're bad at oppressing.
But tell us about these Southern people.
Sure. So in the 17 and 1800s, back when you fought, you were lucky to leave with all your body parts.
That's the way fighting should be. I think the MMA is soft.
Yeah.
They should
And
have access.
After this episode, you'll believe that.
Okay, so because here, let me get my thoughts on fighting real quick, and why I'll never fight MMA because I think it's just too soft.
Right.
There's rules.
Yeah.
Okay, you should always be fighting two people when you are in a fight. One, the other man you're fighting. Two,
The man in the mirror.
your own soul.
Yeah.
You need to be wrestling with your own moral revulsion at how far you're willing to go to win that fight.
I agree.
And the name of the game here was Rough-and-tumble.
Okay.
That's what it was called?
It was called Rough-and-tumble, and the aim was to gouge out your opponent's eyeballs.
Oh, my God.
Good Lord.
Or, whenever possible, much worse.
Then that? Which is rip his fucking nuts off?
I was going to say rip his nuts off. Is that it?
That is a big part of this, yes.
The nuts. The eyes of the dick.
Fighters had reputations for testicle maiming and even sharpening their teeth to tear off larger chunks of human.
Good Lord.
What?
So they're like that. Didn't that chick in Gangs in New York do that? Wasn't she filing her teeth
Yeah,
I don't remember
into
that
points? I feel like she was.
little late.
She had the claws, but I think she filed her teeth.
She's one of the later adopters
Yeah.
Of rough and tumble.
Rough-and-tumble. So this form of martial arts started in rural Carolina
Art is a fucking
and Western
nuts.
Virginia.
Quite
of course.
martial for sure.
Rural Carolina and West Virginia.
So
Yeah.
it's a Appalachian thing.
It's shocker.
Of course
Well,
it is.
Rough and tumble expanded in popularity and in the late 18th century into Kentucky and Tennessee.
This sounds like something that like they had to come to eventually an agreement on. Like, we can't do this anymore, but we still do have a bloodlust so what should we watch? And they were like, let's just do dog fighting.
Yeah.
This eventually just becomes dueling.
Really?
Yeah.
But these aren't gentlemen.
Right. So, like, and we'll get into this later.
All right.
But this goes so far that they're like, you know what? It's better if we just shoot at each other with guns.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it was undoubtedly the most violent form of fighting in the U.S. at the time. Historians have long deemed the rough-and-tumble fighters as the dregs of American society, an embarrassment to a wider cultural elite.
If you have money, you're not getting in an eyeball fight.
No. You're watching the eyeball fight. You're betting on the eyeball fight.
Right.
Yeah.
Even these historians who would kind of like dunk on boxing and wrestling in one article would go on to say these sports at least practice some respectable like rules
There
and
were limits.
and they produced individuals like President Lincoln who wrestled.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Well, wrestling, too, was like, that was an ancient sport.
Yes.
but rough and tumble fighting was mostly rural,
Yeah.
as you know.
Look, you need something to do on the farm.
Got to squash those beefs somehow.
What do you, after you milk the cow, what are you supposed to do but gouge out Jebediah's eyes?
And since most of these communities didn't have newspapers to write about it, a lot of these fighting accounts came from just people, passerbys, travelers.
Let's be honest. They didn't have people to write about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
In 1806,
Hold on real quick. I do like that someone at some point had to be like, holy shit. Did you see him take that boy's eyeballs out? Should we do this like in front of other people? Other people might be into this.
I think we got something.
They were like, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. In 1806, Englishman Thomas Ashe wrote an account of his visit to Wheeling, Virginia, where he witnessed a fight between two working-class men that he would remember for the rest of his life.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
I just love the idea of, like, this happened in the drinking episode too, but, like, British people come over in the early onset of
Yeah.
our nation, and they're like, good God.
People are animals.
Yeah. Hope we never have to fight these guys in a war. Oh, shit. Yeah.
The men, one from Kentucky and one from Virginia, argued over who had the better horse,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
a somewhat standard debate in
Just
a
race them.
booze-filled outskirts of a small town. They did. So, not willing to come to agree upon who had the better horse, they decided to race them, and the race was inconclusive.
What?
They tie?
So they challenged each other to a fight.
All right.
They agreed to tear and rend rather than fair fight.
So,
which is, it's like a gentleman's agreement to be ungentlemanly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, hold on real quick. We talked about this before in an episode a while ago. I think it was on the main. It could be on the Patreon. But we're talking about, I think it was yours, was somebody who dueled for a woman or something like that? Or like, there was some woman duel or, I don't remember what it was.
Oh, yeah. Two topless dueling women.
But we were
Yes.
just, we were talking about how just like how.
it was over flowers.
How bad would it suck ass to just like die in a duel for a woman who wasn't even gonna fuck you or something? You know, what I mean? Like somebody did that.
It was two women that fought over flowers,
Right, but
swords,
we
topless.
did talk about how someone has died in a duel because they were in the
They were
friend zone.
simping. They were simping.
Because
yeah.
they were simping.
Yeah, the Wild West episode.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah,
yeah, that's it, that's it,
That's
yep.
what it was. Like these guys are doing that, but not even for a human woman.
For the respect of their horse.
Yes.
Yes. The honor of their horse. Don't you go question my horse's speed.
So, this Englishman Ashe watched in astonishment as the man from Virginia took the Kentuckian to the ground and from a mounted position grasped his hair and stuck his thumbs into the man's eye socket.
Jesus.
But Kentucky recovered and rolled Virginia off him. Once on top, Kentucky leaned over and bit off the nose of the man from Virginia.
Oh, my God.
But the fight was not over. The man from Virginia took the Kentuckian's lower lip between his teeth and ripped it down to his chin.
Oh my God!
They're just playing Mr. Potato Head with each other. That's all they're doing.
Then the fight was over.
Oh, okay.
Okay. well
Oh
then-
God.
The man from Virginia with no nose was carried off in victory, while the Kentuckian headed to the doctor, his eye damaged from the attempted gouge, and his lower lip flopping around his chin.
Yeah, gone. Although honestly, That's just some stitches, right? I mean,
You son of a bitch.
yeah. You're drooling for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Can't even throw a dip in, dude.
This fight was not an anomaly, but rather a tradition of fighting that was particularly in rural southern areas of the young United States. Bedding, of course, was prevalent, and rules were non-existent.
Yeah. What did you just kill?
You just killed a mosquito.
Okay. I don't want to sound soft here, but I would just be, you know what? At some point, I would just be like, okay, you know what, man? Yeah, my horse is gay.
My horse sucks, bro.
Yeah, my horse is gay. Whatever. My horse sucks ass. Whatever. I would keep my face.
All day.
Is this where saving face came from?
Perhaps.
Possibly.
Because you saved your face.
But a lot of these guys saw it as kind of like all their scars and everything as badges of honor.
I guess if you're already that like poor and shitty, that it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So contestants would kick down a downed opponent, knee to the groin, bite, and even scratch each other with fingernails sharpened just for that purpose. Eye gouging became the ultimate finish in rough and tumble, with men being disfigured for life.
You should die.
Fingernails, sharply filed and coated in wax, dug into an opponent's eye socket, attempting to literally rip out the eyeball.
Good God.
And hold it in front of a screaming crowd. So you want to rip it out of his head and just kind of hold it up like
Yeah.
"Got
balls."
your eye, bitch."
Yeah, just a little fun eyeball.
But there was also numerous ways to name an opponent and earn the win. So biting off ears, lips, fingers, and the nose were popular moves. They were
We need to
kind
make
of go-tos.
we need to make a Southern Fight Club movie. Rough and tumble.
Yeah.
As was headbutting and, of course, testicle tearing.
Tearing.
Testicle tearing. Oh, you know what we
Biting
can
and
call it?
tearing, yeah.
Forget rough and tumble. We'll call it rough and howdy.
Yeah, no, I think that doesn't sound like anything at all right now. No.
What am I missing?
Rough and rowdy.
Yeah. That's just Barstool's fight in boxing league.
Right, but it's Southern, so we'll call it rough and howdy.
Okay. A little subtle dig.
Southerners were notorious for dick kicks and ball biting that people even brought up in church.
What do you mean brought up? They're like, hey, man, stop violently blowing people.
So English minister Charles Woodmason put it in his sermon in 1760. I would advise when you do fight not to act like tigers and bears as these Virginians do. Biting one another's lips and noses off and gouging one another's eyes out and kicking one another on the cods to the great damage of a many poor woman. So he's just like, for the sake of the women in our town, please stop ripping each other's testicles off.
Right,
Yeah.
please stop.
How are we gonna have more people?
Dude, imagine just some guy with knife fingers just rips your scrotum open.
And these people are dirty people.
Dirty, I mean, you're dying.
You're dying of sepsis.
Everybody's yeah.
Yeah.
There's no antibiotics.
No.
Everyone's dead a week later.
Yeah.
After your fucking mud fight where you're just ripping open scrotums and biting open wounds into people.
Yeah. Over horses.
Yeah. I'll wreck my horse is faster than you. And I bet neither horse is actually even fast.
No.
You know
They're
what I
actually
mean?
just donkeys.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right, like,
weren't even horses.
Those aren't race horses or anything of the sort. They're just two dumb regular. It's like two people getting in a fight, like racing their Corolla and their Escort.
Which does happen.
Why are you knocking the Fast and Furious franchise?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
My Honda Civic's faster than your Jetta.
It's all
It's like a $1 trillion franchise.
race
Yeah, I know.
murders are always over a Honda Civic.
Yeah.
They started
It's got a spoon engine, bro.
so low stakes back in the day.
Yeah.
Still.
Remember, Fast and Furious is about people in Honda Civics stealing DVD players out of a fucking semi.
VHS tapes.
No, it's
It was
DVD,
their
player.
players.
Yeah, that
And
was
they got to space
space.
within like 18 years.
Yeah. It's the fastest human development I've ever
They
seen,
went
really.
out of space. I mean, within 15 years of that, they were fighting a submarine in the Arctic.
Oh,
And
it started with
the trailer
DVDs.
just dropped for 10, so
Yeah.
let's go. So attempts to castrate another man during fights were common. When one man would go to the ground, the other man would kick, stomp, strike, gouge, bite, and tear. There were no hold barred as part of the gentlemanly agreement. The only thing that was off limits, though, was weapons.
Okay.
The
So-
thing that would make it more civil somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is like, oh man, I'm trying to think of, I forgot what it was before, but there is certain situation, like they talked about how like the addition of certain types of weapons actually like limits wound, like limits fatalities or something like that, because people are
You're having casualties, but you're
more
not having deaths.
standoffish, I guess you could say, or something like that. I don't know. I forget what it was.
Yeah, if everyone's armed in a movie theater, you're fine.
That really goes against the argument of no helmet football.
Yeah. I mean, if they're allowed.
Actually, no, it's totally for no helmet football because it's more dangerous in theory without protection. So everyone's a little more standoffish and cautious.
Right.
By
Well, no,
adding
the
the
main
protection.
argument
No,
for
his
that is, like-
argument was it's more dangerous without weapons.
Yeah. That is, yeah, we're saying the same thing.
Okay.
Okay, I think we all are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But although that argument is also stupid of like, man, if they just didn't wear the pads and helmets, people wouldn't get hurt. Like, look at rugby. It's like, yeah, dude, rugby doesn't have the dudes the NFL has.
And they also I think they have a concussion problem.
I'm
do.
almost positive they
They
do.
fucking do. And again, that's without the freaks in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, they have their own freaks in New Zealand and Australia.
Yeah, they got like 8 freaks. The NFL's freak only.
Only freaks.
Clout for the fights was part of the appeal, likening themselves to wild animals and bragging about their abilities to womanize, fight, and drink were all a part of the rough and tumble glory and experience.
I mean, this does just kind of sound like MMA.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, I've said this before in the show, I think, an MMA fight in mid-Missouri that was, like, barely sanctioned. Our house dad wanted to do an MMA.
It definitely wasn't sanctioned.
Yeah, I mean, there was a ref, and there was an octagon. It was
There was
at
a guy in like a Foot Locker jersey.
Yeah, he was.
He got off work, just clocked out of his shift and showed up.
Clocked it out of one into the other.
Yeah.
And, like, dude, the people fighting in that, like, these were rough and tumblers. Like, and our house dad just wanted to, like, he had won many a drunken fight and wanted to see if he could win, like, a fight. No, he killed him.
He killed the guy?
Almost. No, like, he fucked him up.
Oh, damn.
Like, we were in the back row by the bar because it was, like, at a concert venue. And I watched that guy's teeth explode out of his mouth.
Holy
from
shit.
Fucking 20 rows back.
That's
He
awesome.
fucked him up.
There was a guy that worked for my dad that did MMA. Someone told me he was in a fight and he got hit so hard in the stomach he shit his pants in the octagon.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Incredible.
yeah. We got yelled at, by the way, because I guess this is a thing. We were booing his opponent when they were during the walkouts. And I guess you're supposed to just, like, cheer everyone. It's like a participation trophy situation.
Why would I want that?
Right. We were like all, it was
You
like
need
the whole
heels
fraternity
and
went.
faces.
We were just like booing the fuck out of his opponent, who got walked out with like the dirtiest townie situation you've ever seen.
The ring girls at a local Mizzou fight.
Mid-Missouri.
Not the best talent.
No.
No.
It wasn't girls, it was his little crew. Right? Like, you
No,
walk
I
out with
mean,
your boys.
I'm not saying guy or girl. I'm saying regardless.
Yeah,
people.
Yeah. Oh, it was
Yeah.
bad. It was bad.
So a perfect example of who these people were is rough and tumble fighter Mike Fink. He was quoted. This is kind of like the vibe that these guys would give off. One of his quotes was, "I'm the very infant that refused his milk before its eyes were open and called out for the bottle of old rye. I love the women, and I'm chock full of old fight. I'm half wild horse and half cockeyed alligator. And the rest of me is croc snags and red hot snapping turtles."
What is a croc snag?
I don't know what that is, but a snapping turtle's a fucking asshole.
Yeah, snapping turtles are dicks.
A red hot snapping turtle.
Yeah.
Pissed off snapper.
Let's go. This
Yeah.
guy sounds...
Kinda sounds cool.
What year is this that he said this?
1800s.
Yeah. You don't hear that a lot in the 1800s.
He's actually-
I like to fuck.
I drink. Well, everyone did.
Yeah. Only titties I suck on ain't got milk coming out of them.
You got rye.
Yeah. I fuck pussy.
He's pretty eloquent for like a rough
Everyone
and
was
tumble
more
fighter
eloquent.
then.
Everyone was more eloquent.
Yeah.
We're moron. Everyone talks like an idiot now.
It's just easier that way.
We're more educated, but we're just like derp, derp, derp.
Yeah, but it's better.
These were dirt people, and he's just throwing out bars like a red hot snapping turtle.
You also don't know how embellished it was. Like, he was
Yeah.
dictating to...
Yeah, someone was writing that down in the
Right.
crowd, right? He was just like, "I'm goddamn turtle, motherfucker! Let's go!" Like, yeah, that's what he actually said.
Half cockeyed alligator.
Yeah. Chop chop. It's barely audible.
Although gougers may have traditionally been lower class men, sometimes men from upper classes engaged in rough and tumble. although not always by choice.
It sounds like they were probably chastising
Maybe
the
they were jumped. There's no amount of like, hey, your horse is a bitch. Look at that pretty bitch horse. That would make me like, all right, sir, one of us will be biting the other's nose off.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, sure. Yeah, my horse sucks. I'm going to go eat real food. Have fun, mud boy.
Yeah.
Well, here's what happened.
And then you get bit.
A physician, this is an example, a physician was distinguished in the 18th century in the American South. He did not really understand the rough and tumble situation. He
got it a little over his head.
He did. He was insulted by one of his lower class patients, so he challenged him to a duel.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He probably, the patient...
The physician challenged him to a duel.
Yeah.
The patient probably came in missing a fucking nose
Yeah.
from rough and tumble.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But before the words left his mouth, the man attacked a doctor and plucked the eyes out of the doctor from its socket.
In the office?
So he's like, I challenge you to a duel. And he's like,
It's like, I'm in here for this.
Yeah. Like, it starts now.
The man
rough
was
and
not
tumble.
finished, however, because as the eye bounced against the doctor's cheek, the man tugged at it, attempting to tear it from the physician's eye socket and take it as a prize.
Just like this guy has no idea what's about to happen to him. It's like, I challenge you. And then like literally someone's just pulling his eyeball out. Like, come on. Snap already.
Hit the. I think I wrote this in a blog a while back. Maybe I even said this on the show already. But you know, the past, history is a foreign country. The past is a foreign country. The past is a foreign country, and that country is Somalia.
Yes.
Like, there's no civilized part of the past.
The past is Mogadishu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fucking nightmare.
It sounds like a simpler time, really.
I guess.
Where men just plucked each other's eyes out and bit each other's
If you
nuts
don't
off.
like your doctor's diagnosis,
Kill him.
yeah.
Well, you don't kill him. You just
Take his eyes.
name him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always, one time a doctor told me to get vaccinated.
Yeah, it's like,
Eyeball.
fuck your second opinion.
Here's my second opinion.
Rips his balls.
Yeah.
Yeah. While the rough and tumble is typically classified as a southern tradition, the fighting passed on to the western frontier.
Of course it did.
Most famously, legendary American folk hero and Tennessee native Davy Crockett,
Uh-huh.
who once related a tale of his own gouging experience. He said, I kept my thumb in his eye and was just going to give it a twist and bring the peeper out.
I was going to take it out
I'm
for
just
a
going to
minute.
give it a little twist.
Yeah.
Like taking a gooseberry in a spoon.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course he did. What the fuck is a gooseberry?
You know what a gooseberry is?
They don't make them anymore.
There are gooseberries.
Don't know what it
Couldn't
is.
tell you what a gooseberry is.
It's just a berry.
Any berry?
No, I mean, it's a specific kind of berry. Hold on. It's not important, but
No. Testosterone-laden groups in the other part of the country participated in similar fights, specifically the lumberjack population in Ohio.
Okay.
Historian Richard Dorson referred to the lifestyle of this cohort as the lumberjack code, in which drinking, treating friends, impulsive pleasure-seeking, heroic labor, and vicious fighting constituted the practices that would, in turn, lead to biting off another man's nose.
Dude, I just don't. Okay, I guess biting off the nose isn't going to, totally fuck you up, but,
It would suck.
I don't understand the sort of, essentially the thought of, hey, buddy, you medium offended me. Let's fight, and one of us can never work again.
They never go after the hands or the legs, really.
If you go after the eyes, you're not working again at your
Yeah.
current
You
profession.
get an eye patch.
not if you lose both of them.
You only go for one, I think.
Oh,
Maybe that's like the code. It's like, man, I'll take one eye,
Just
but
one. Is that like the Bill the Butcher thing? He's like, I plucked one out. Would have done both if I could have fought him blind. Been watching a lot of Gangs of New York clips lately.
it
clearly.
seems that way, yeah.
Yeah, I love Gangs of New York.
It's a good movie.
It's a Cameron Diaz away from being like a top 5 movie of all time.
She's bad.
She's really bad in that movie.
I don't know. How do you think Cameron Diaz is at an Irish accent and in a period piece?
Probably like me or Jake in an Irish accent.
Roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I governor. This is Irish, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's just like, get out of here, Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, cut. His name, the character name is not Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Please call him.
We're not here to take part. We're here to take over. Nah, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, are you doing Bill the Butcher? That's impossible. Only Daniel Day-Lewis can do that voice.
Yeah.
I die a true American. Like, it's just possible. God, that movie's good. We'll never do a watch along with that because I don't have 4 hours.
It's so long.
It's so fucking long.
You wanted to do Pearl Harbor,
Oh.
which is awful.
Oh,
and
that movie
is
sucks,
like
bro.
4.5 hours.
I know, but that's why it's a fun watch along.
That's not fun. I'd want to kill myself at the end of it. Or midway,
yeah.
really. At the end, I'd be happy. It
I'd
was
watch
over.
Midway.
Midway.
Yeah.
Actually,
Midway's really long too, and not as fun to watch along to as Pearl Harbor, because there's no like. All you'll say in Midway is the same thing over and over again, which is like, damn, the CGI is kind of stupid.
All right, Tora.
oh, I'd do that.
I'd rather just do Pearl Harbor.
Okay.
Pearl Harbor's a gorgeous movie. It's
Yeah.
bad, but every shot
Because Michael Bay.
is a poster.
I've seen Tora a lot, actually.
Your dad is big into it.
Yeah.
My grandfather.
Everyone's dad. As the 18th century came to a close, rough and tumble fighting, and perhaps more specifically the injuries associated with it, became less of a sign of masculinity and more of a symbol of old barbarism.
Yeah, because nobody wants to hang out with the freak man
Yeah.
without a nose and an eye.
Yeah, you know, like when you come into work with a black eye and people are like, Jesus, dude.
Yeah.
Come on. Can you imagine coming to work with no eye?
Right. Or like, do you remember there was that meme that went around a couple years ago, and it was like the mom. It was probably fake, but it was like a mom, her like was with her like little boy, and a construction worker was in front of them in line. He's all dirty and smelled bad, and she was like, "See, this is why you need to do good in school, or else you'll." End up like this. And the construction worker was like, well, actually, I have a degree and I make X amount of dollars a year and blah, blah, blah. That's probably bullshit, blah, blah. But, man, yeah. The only thing you would do when you see a noseless, eyeless man who smells like shit anywhere around you,
He's got.
and you got your child with you, is be like, whatever he does, don't fucking do it.
Yeah, you see how he has wax around his filed nails?
Yeah, you see the freak man with the pointed teeth?
Yeah. Don't do that.
Don't be him.
Now, as we transitioned into a more gentle society, we transitioned into dueling rather than tearing off another man's testicles.
I'd rather die
Yeah.
than have my nose bitten off and an eye plopped out.
And my nuts ripped off.
Yeah.
But obviously, there were some victims to, the in-between, like the doctor, where it's just like, man, I challenge you to a duel, and then he gets his eye ripped out.
Just popped immediately.
Yeah, it's got to be a not so fun transition period.
A little bit
where
of
That
a
was, by
buffer.
the way-
There was a buffer period.
By
yeah.
the way, smart of the guy, smart of the patient. He wasn't winning that duel.
Probably a terrible shot, probably
Yep.
drunk.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was not winning that duel. Obviously won the fight.
Clearly. He was the only one that knew it was happening.
You got to know your strengths. Styles makes fights.
Dude, can you still see as that guy's like,
That's a good question. I mean, I guess if he hasn't dislodged the optic nerve or anything, possibly.
right?
Yeah, I mean, like people's eyes can come out and they can still see.
And you can pop him back in.
What is it? Who's the Villanova guy whose eye popped out? That one tourney.
Oh, Ray.
Yeah. Yeah. His eye
Alan
popped
Ray,
out.
right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it was-
didn't know
it was
that.
like
That's
the-
fucking wild.
It was like the 2006 tournament or
It was like
2005.
when I was a kid.
Yeah. I forget. But yeah, I mean, his eye went back in his head and he could see. Like, he
Yes.
didn't go blind.
Yeah, it was Alan Ray.
Yeah.
Good Lord. What happened?
Go ahead and look that up.
He
Do
got
your
like,
research.
it was just like he was getting blocked or something and it was a freak accident and like he got under and his eye popped out.
Jesus Christ.
It was like hanging out of his head. It was crazy. On the court.
But again, man, if you're that doctor, you just got to know your patient's strengths, and he's going to go for that.
Yeah.
Like, you got to know his history. You got to do some film.
Keep a scalpel on you at all times. You got to be ready to fucking shiv that motherfucker.
Yeah.
So these formal duels did not always succeed, though. Sometimes heated tempers led men back to rough and tumble.
They both
From the
missed.
guns? I would have just reloaded the gun.
Yeah.
U.S. Senator James Jackson famously resorted to biting the finger of Robert Watkins, a politician from Savannah, when Watkins attempted to gouge Jackson's eye out.
Okay.
So-
So what did he do? Like, it was like fingers in the eye, and he was just like, like got up into the thumb.
Yep. They were about to duel, and they were just like, you know what? Fuck this.
Wait, he just charged him and bit his finger off?
Well, he charged him, got his eye in the socket, and then got his finger bit off.
Oh, okay. Trigger finger probably too.
Probably.
Right? Index, just get that. Yeah, you're not firing shit.
Yeah.
Rough and tumble fighting would never become an organized sport,
No way.
How could it?
Yeah.
or even one that recognized champions. It was a form of dueling in a way.
The only, you know how you, it's so the only anyone could lie and say they were a champion, right? You just walk up and be like, yeah, I won all my rough and tumble fights, and you have both your eyes.
I was
so
just
people
about
are
to
like,
say,
oh, well, maybe, yeah.
if there was like a recognized champion and they were just unscathed looking, that's a terrifying person. Like he's just both his nuts,
There's other
both
people
his
backing up
eyes.
his claims too, and she's
Yeah,
like,
it's like-
no, he's the guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just a 7-foot man with claws and fucking fangs.
It was a method of settling score, and it was represented the dedication to one's argument. If a man was willing to lose an eye in order to defend his honor, he was, according not to just the lumberjack code, but to ancient custom of dueling, a real man.
Sure.
Lumberjack code sounds dumb.
So
Don't put that out
essentially,
there.
wait, that's
Seems
the
like stolen valor, really.
Yeah.
That's the same thing people do now. Obviously not with the eye gouging, but it's just like, dude, the most badass thing you can do is like never admit you're wrong and suffer immense consequences not admitting that you're wrong.
Yes.
Never admit you're wrong.
Yeah, never admit it. No matter what.
Double down.
You can be down horrendously, but you're not wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Just keep
You're
suffering.
just not right yet.
Yeah,
You'll
suffer-
get there.
Just keep taking loss after loss, lose everything. It doesn't matter.
And if you die, you're a fucking martyr.
Right.
Yeah.
This culture of being an alpha dominated the true working class, and scars and deformations due to fighting were evidence of virtually the physical prowess. These men were tough, but they had to be both in a fight and in their daily existence because everything in their lives was an extreme. So these are just lower class working people just trying to get by.
They're
just
working
poor.
a lot of on-job deaths.
Well, yeah.
these people.
I mean, I think to paint some context around this too, like very low socioeconomic places, violence is a tool. It's not like fucking
Oh yeah.
It's not just like, oh man, like I'm angry so I'm violent. Well, like yeah, sure, you're angry and you're violent, but also violence gets you things. It keeps people away from you.
I would argue over the course of history, the most common, probably not the best because the Industrial Revolution is essentially like everything on steroids, but pre-industrial, but for the longest amount of time, the number one way to move up in class was warfare.
Yeah, well,
Was being involved in warfare.
I mean, think about fucking apes, dude. Like, you establish a hierarchy through violence.
Also, think about every notable figure in history.
Forget the notable ones.
How are they notable? It's a war.
Right, but forget the notable ones. How do you get all these other people to fight these wars that you're like, what is even barely the point of this? Because they get loot, they get things, they get to move up socioeconomically. Like,
Right.
why? What is in the interest of a random Mongolian to conquer fucking Moscow or Baghdad or anything like that?
Give me the loot. Give me the loot.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's like, hey man, if you come with me, you get all the stuff.
right.
Yeah.
Why?
And if you don't have a lot of stuff, great sounding deal.
Yeah.
It's like I can kill him, man.
And on a smaller scale, it's the same way. Like, what is in the interest of, these tiny European, countries to constantly fight each other in the Middle Ages or whatever? Or more importantly, why would these people, these like feudal peasants or whatever, and like the knights and stuff like that, why do they keep needing to go to war and shit like that? Like, you get shit and you get to bring shit back, then your family has more wealth.
Frankly, what's better than having a trade or a skill set? It's being able to kill that man who has this trade or the skill set and just take the things he makes.
I mean, yeah, even like criminal organizations, for instance, it's like, yeah, I mean, if you do good, your boss hooks it up.
Right.
Yeah. So it's not like mind blowing that this happened.
yeah.
It's
It
always-
is weird. The method is insane. Like weapons, things like that, I think are all pretty normal forms of violence. but, like,
organized warfare.
yeah, things like
This
that. This is the drags, dude.
lot.
Yeah.
So the willingness to fight rough and tumble rather than a fair fight also revealed to this particular community the true grit of what a man is or what a man should be.
So what is
It was again badge of honor, being maimed, just kind of like defending your honor, having the scars.
and what is even a fair fight?
I would be like, oh, look at that idiot. Not to his face, I guess, or what was left of it.
Yeah.
But
But,
you're growing up dirt poor in Wheeling, West Virginia.
well, there was no West Virginia at this time.
Well, whatever.
It was just a big old
Western.
Virginia.
Western Virginia.
Western Virginia.
Virginia.
Yeah. I
We know where it is, though. We know which one they're
We
talking
know the people.
about.
Yeah. No,
They never left.
Yeah.
No, they didn't leave. Those are the same people. They are rooted in that dirt.
I mean, the mental imagery of a talon sharpened, fang sharpened man with no eyes, like literally, I think rattling around in the American subconscious still about Appalachia.
That is Appalachia.
Yeah, that's the kind of gross distillation of what we think of it as.
This is the most moonshine shit I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's like Deliverance shit, dude.
Right.
You're just like, oh, yeah. No, I mean, it's interesting. It comes from somewhere.
Here's my question. What would you guys do?
That's what's going to be my next question. So
Go for it. You ask that. It's your show.
you get into a rough and tumble fight. What's your go-to move?
Now, okay, here's my, I guess, preemptive question with this. Am I prepared for it? Like I'm a rough and tumble fighter, or someone just ran, like I'm the doctor and someone, just jumps on me?
You get a little bit more preparation than the doctor.
Okay, that's
You-
good.
Yeah, you get challenged. They set it's like a schoolyard.
They set a time.
fight. It's like meet us at the bridge at this
Yeah.
time.
Okay. Flagpole.
But
3 o'clock.
you're still just you.
Okay.
Flee.
Yeah, probably flee is amazing. But I guess if I'm forced to fight,
You going right for the nuts?
straight nutsack.
Yeah.
Straight nutsack. I'm sorry, it's not even off limits. It's not even like
It's actually almost applauded.
Yeah,
right.
It's,
It's extra on limits.
yeah. It's
Like, what
one
do
of two big prizes.
Like, why would
yeah.
you bother working the body?
Yeah.
You work the nutsack.
Yeah. It's
Not
like
enough people work the nutsack.
Yeah.
you got 4 golden snitches on a man. All right.
Yeah.
You got to get one of them.
I'll probably
This golden snitch.
Yeah.
This golden snitch. Or them 2 snitches
Now,
down
you
low.
kicking, you reaching down,
I'm probably going straight nutsack. I will say this.
biting.
I don't have a lot of upper body strength. Like I'm actually not very. I'm not actually like that's a surprise. Not very strong upper body.
That's
but
weird.
I am actually like leg wise quite pretty strong in the legs.
An ox.
So I am.
That's
yeah,
what they say about you.
I'm kicking. I'm kicking like a motherfucker. Grabbing nutsack. My ideal situation, I guess,
Smaller man.
is I have him by the nuts in one, like nutsack in my right hand,
All right.
and I got him by the collar in the left hand, and I'm just just like fucking actually.
Kicks to the head as you grab his nutsack.
Yeah.
It's interesting because like normally in a situation like that you want your eyes away, right? Like you want your face away from their face so they don't have a good look
Need
at.
some head movement.
Yeah.
So they can't just kind of gouge in.
Yeah, but like, I'm thinking like you try to get them to the ground first and foremost.
I think the ground's the worst place to be.
I think it might be too.
But no, that's what I'm saying in theory, right?
That's why, like in
yeah.
street fights and everything, you never really want to do jiu-jitsu or wrestle. You want to, wrestling to an extent if it's like a guy who can't really fight, but you kind of want to stay on your feet because his boys are going to probably jump in. But in this situation too,
right, if you
he's
get on
going
the
to
ground,
scratch,
you're
he's
gonna
going
get
to bite, he's going to do whatever.
Yeah. So like I'm saying, like in theory you'd want to get him to the ground, but that doesn't work because if you like have him pinned reverse style where you're like, all right, I can grab his nuts off and shit, he can grab your nuts right back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or bite him.
And by the way, another thing I'm doing, I don't know if they did this at the time, but let's say I have the ability to do this. I thought about this before with like, if the apocalypse happens, right? If like some shit really goes down, like how can I defend myself? Like I said, I have strong legs, not very strong punch or whatever. Obviously, if I'm wearing a shoe like this, not the most effective kicker, right? Like it's a soft shoe, it's a tennis shoe. I'm putting on a hard boot.
All these men were wearing boots.
Yeah.
You don't know that? They might be wearing some soft ass.
Or they're shoeless.
They're poor people. Yeah, they're fucking
moccasins.
poor.
Yeah.
I'm putting on some hard boots. All right, so I got
Steel toe.
2 clubs on my feet.
Yeah.
Rob's walking up in a suit of armor. All right.
Now, a lot of people, think Gandhi was just spitting fire with an eye for an eye reference, but he was really just a rough and tumble fan.
Gandhi might have been
That makes everyone blind.
Gandhi might have been a great rough and tumble fighter.
Well, they cut the quote off, and he after they said, and it's fucking rad. Rough and tumble, 1954. Let's go.
An eye for an eye and a nut for a nut.
You just had all the vintage rough and tumble trading cards.
Should we make rough and tumble shirts, like rough and tumble 1797?
Like Wheeling, Virginia. We should do that, yeah.
Actually, yeah, that's and it's just like eye gouging and.
Just a guy. No, it's just
we really actually need.
we'll have the mascot. It's Blinky, the eyeless eunuch. Yeah. There you go.
All right, so we got what you would do in the fight. How do you think you would fare?
I would lose.
bad.
I would
Very
do
bad.
poorly.
These are psycho poor people From all right, so here's
Smaller people, though,
the thing. Okay, I'm saying, okay, so am I fighting people from the era?
from the era.
They're pretty small and malnourished.
Yeah,
They're scrappy as fuck. I don't think they're that strong.
probably not. But they are used to the elements.
They're
used to-
tenacious.
I mean, they're just
tenacious.
they've grown
Yeah.
up with such a hard lifestyle.
I don't know, man.
I don't think a lot's gonna like affect them.
If I'm fighting some guy who's 5'4", 110,
I'm kicking the shit out of it.
Oh, I'm going Liu Kang on that bitch.
it's I'll say it's like
bicycle kick.
I have played sports as an adult against like people that I'll just be an asshole and say it. I played like an indoor soccer game against a bunch of like Guatemalan dudes who were literally all like 5'4", 5'5", like 120, 130. I mean, when you were moving them off the ball, just in indoor soccer where you had to like not hurt people, I mean, you just move them. I'm not a strong guy, and it's just you're just like bye.
There's
Like
leverage. Yeah.
Yeah, like you just push your hip on them. You're like, you go now. You go where I tell you to go.
Yeah, I get ball.
Yeah.
Right.
I think I'd do okay.
If it's against people that size, honestly,
we might all fare better than we think. Yeah.
Forget the how many toddlers could you take in like a fight, or how many zombie children you could take in a fight. How many rough and tumblers could you
I'm
take?
only
one at a
just
time?
one at a time. Yeah, that's
certainly not more than one at a time.
you're losing everything if there's more than one.
There's two.
Two is too many.
Two. What they do, yeah.
Because they're just homie from Mortal Kombat with the sharpened fingers.
Yeah.
Now,
Baraka.
Baraka, yeah.
Yes.
Can I tell you what I would do to properly insult them after I've won the fight against the little tiny man?
Oh, you know what I'm doing?
What?
I'm eating the eyeball.
You're eating eyeball.
Ooh.
Okay.
I think you have to. Right in front of their face.
Why? Why is that insulting to them? I mean, it is, but why?
I ripped it out of your face,
And now it's in my tummy.
and now I just ate it.
And it's your poop now.
I'm pooping your
I'm
eyeball
about to shit out your eyeball. You can get it back.
in a day.
I'll call you.
I'll do it right on your front doorstep.
Yeah, I'll get it back. Don't worry,
God.
buddy. What if the cornea survives? It's just like a blue cornea in your shit.
Like
It's
it
like a
was really
gross-
hard to pass.
It's like bubble gum. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's looking right back at you.
Just sit there in it. I guess if I win the fight, I like thoroughly win the fight, what I'm doing is I am keeping his scrotum intact, but I'm removing the testicles. I'm putting the testicles in the eye sockets, and I'm putting the eyeballs in the scrotum. And then I'm sewing the scrotum back up
With the eyeballs.
with the eyeballs inside. And now his eyeballs are his testicles, and his fucking testicles are his eyeballs.
I don't think I can beat that. So
I don't think he's going to allow you to do that either.
He's
Old-
unconscious at this point.
old Jebediah eye nuts over here. Like God.
Oh, I'm sorry. Does he have to stay conscious for the handshake at the end?
Yeah, you settled your score, shake hands, get in the line.
It was on my
It's like
face.
hockey after a postseason series.
Yeah, everyone has a line. Everybody shakes hands.
Be a gentleman.
This is such a
Good
fucking
sportsmanship.
nightmare situation. Like, people don't understand. Like, the UK or Great Britain at that time, not the UK, Great Britain, like, they looked at the colonies, like America. They were like, yeah, they have some nice stuff, but, like, that is the wilderness. Like, all of it.
Yeah.
Who would you think would have the best rough and tumble fighters in the country at that time?
What state?
Yeah.
Virginia was huge, so it's hard to bet against Virginia on that alone.
Yeah. Population kind of makes that a better.
If I had
bet.
to go pound for pound, if I had to go per capita, who had the best though? South Carolina is just psychopath. All of South Carolina's history is psychopathic.
I'm taking every Native American territory over any of the colony ones. I bet you they would crush a bunch of little coal mining,
You're
whatever.
right. I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah.
Just some like
Just Cherokee Nation.
The Iroquois.
Yeah. Just like, oh, huh. You think you're gonna beat me?
I
Yeah.
think you are.
I think you're onto something.
I think you're exercising in racism here. That's like
Always bet against the white guy in MMA. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's fair.
That was a big thing in college.
Kill Whitey.
It
I
was
mean,
like,
look, man.
always bet on the guy with more tattoos, and who's fighting the white guy, I'll take him.
Yeah.
We weren't Australia, but we weren't not Australia. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of desperate people came here.
Yep. Yeah.
And if you settled in the Appalachians,
It's like, this is it.
Yeah. A lot of
Yeah.
And again, this isn't some Georgia fop, right? This isn't a plantation owner.
That's actually what Paradise Lost is about.
What?
Just a bunch of people moving to the new world and tearing each other's nuts off. Never mind, that's a bad
Do you
joke.
have a new appreciation for Davy Crockett?
No. I would love to do a deep dive on Davy Crockett, but this is softcore history. We don't do deep dives.
No.
But if Davy Crockett was such a good rough and tumbler, why'd the Alamo not go the way we wanted it to?
He couldn't see. Guy had no dick. He had no dick.
No eyes.
No eyes, no dick. He was a
He
terrible
He
fighter.
had balls for eyes and
Eyes for
a
nuts.
sack.
And that's how we lost the Alamo.
Can you imagine how much low-tier puss you'd get if you put some guy's eyes in his nutsack?
How much low
Or what if you didn't put his nuts into his eye sockets? You just gave him 4 testicles. It was the 2 testicles plus the 2 eyeballs.
Kind of a glaring lack of dick, though, right? Like, they don't really mention tearing off the penis.
Yeah, there's no dick ripping.
Maybe that was kind of like a gentleman's agreement, too. He's like,
Probably hard to rip the penis off, too.
also murder, I think.
Murder's off the table.
I think, yeah.
Oh, he's going to want to die, but
Yeah.
Right.
That's kind of
He's got to do that himself.
yeah.
kind of the appeal of this, too, is like, I want him to feel like he wants to die,
Yeah.
but not actually
You
die.
want the shame.
Yeah. You rip the testicles off, I think you can eventually get them to stop bleeding. I think full dick, I think you can bleed out.
Was there any, like, what was the arena for these fights? Is it just anywhere?
Probably
horse
like a dirt circle.
Okay,
Yeah.
but there wasn't, like, any agreed upon, like, needs to be in a field, needs to be in a barn.
It was actually
Any
just
place, anytime, anywhere.
Anywhere. I guess if you're ripping dudes' scrotums out,
it's just the rotunda of the capital of Western Virginia.
Like, wait, we got to go to the Octagon,
Yeah.
which is the barn shed.
there's a fucking, like, I just don't understand how it came. I understand.
How did it get there, right?
Right. Like,
Yeah.
I understand why people get into boxing and MMA. Like, I would never understand why, if, like, Prince Harry started to do MMA, right? I would be like, what?
Why?
Why? You're a crazy person.
Yeah.
Even Jake Paul, to an extent, right? Like, it's the type of thing where it's like, well, maybe I guess you don't have anything else to do. That's fine. But, like, I understand why MMA, and honestly, to a large extent, like, football is made up of, like, people who aren't, like, don't grow up rich necessarily.
They want to get out.
Right.
It's their only path, they think.
Football's a little different now.
Football's a big mix.
Yeah,
Kinda.
football. I mean, you got to have a lot of money to go.
There's
to
a
those
lot of
camps.
poor fighters out there. A lot
Oh,
of poor
totally.
UFC fighters.
A ton. Yeah.
Even Connor. Connor grew up and he was on like
and
welfare.
boxing's the same way. Like, nobody,
Barrier to entry is a lot lower for fighting than football.
You would think that, but also training's really expensive.
That's
So
true. That's true.
A lot of these guys, the whole
get
thing
they
with
sponsored,
kind
fighter,
of just
right?
going to debt, I assume, right?
the whole thing with fighter pay is like, dude, the check that we're getting for fights, we're paying for like the gyms. Like,
yeah.
it's going straight to our coaches and trainers.
To be fair, though, that's how a lot of individual sports work. Like, tennis is the same way. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, like,
Okay, well, there's a
Dude-
big difference between, potentially dying in a cage and tennis.
hey, man,
What makes more money?
an
You
arena
almost-
is an arena.
You know how much blood has been shed on the grass of Wimbledon?
How many people have been stabbed in a UFC fight?
Probably a couple.
Why? Because I know at
Probably
least,
at that Missouri local show.
yeah, they were stabbing.
Someone got stabbed at a tennis match.
Yeah, Monica Seles.
What?
Yeah, she got stabbed
For like how
by
did
a super fan of another female player.
Uh,
They ran onto the court. They didn't want her to beat Steffi Graf like later in the tournament, not even in that match.
okay.
Yeah.
So they stabbed her.
They're proactive.
Yeah, they stabbed her in the back.
respected her game enough to think she was getting to that point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, she was. Monica
Yeah.
Seles was elite at the time, certainly.
That's insane.
What'd you guys learn today?
So much.
Yeah, a lot about people from that area.
Why would you do that? Why would you fight like that? Ever? Just punch each other.
No rules, baby.
It still
Wow,
kind of
and
is
this-
baffling because it had to have gotten there from somewhere, where it was like someone
Right,
did the
there'd be a
first eye
genesis to
gouge.
it, yeah.
Someone first eye gouge. And they're like, you know what? We're still going.
We got to standardize this.
Yeah, let's make this a thing.
But it is like very American
Oh,
How?
totally.
because we were dirt people back then.
Yeah, we're and are dirt people.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Like, we
Like this isn't coming from the British.
no. That is Walmart. That is the Walmart in our DNA.
Yeah.
Right? Like that is. There's like a horrible saying about America, like accurate, but it just makes me sad. Where it's like when you go to Europe or Asia or Africa, you go to see monuments, historic things, whatever. When you go to America, you go to theme parks.
Yeah. You go to see big stuff.
Fuck yeah, you do.
Mall of America.
Yeah, you go to Disney World and SeaWorld.
Universal.
Yeah.
Fucking Hamburger World.
Rough-and-tumble land.
Yeah. This is just our McDonald's blood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is our fucking cheeseburger, hot dog,
Yeah, it's our fucking birthright.
fucking garbage blood
Yeah.
expressing itself. So here's what I learned is anyone who thinks that, I don't know, we come from some noble people, right? You know, and we've cheapened ourselves with some sort of consumerism or capitalism or cheapness or whatever. Like, we were always those people. We were always the people of Walmart.
Also, yeah, I mean, just to go further, behold, the master race. Like, no eyes, half a nut. Yeah.
I'm the toughest man in town.
Who's Hitler today?
Us.
The guy that attacked the doctor?
The guy that attacked the doctor actually might be Hitler.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of appreciate that. I challenge you to a duel.
Not today, bitch.
just hopped on him.
Just immediately. Duel starts now.
Pocket sand. Yeah.
Listen, you always want to be the first one that throws a punch. You never wait.
No.
Yeah, if you're challenging someone,
If someone's
I would
up
love
on you,
the sabermetrics on that, right? Like, how often does the first punch thrower win the fight?
oh, that would be an interesting.
if someone is aggressively coming at you, yeah, you can throw the first punch. Never wait.
What if they're like pushing you or like just walking aggressively?
I mean, if they push you, it's on.
right.
You end them.
A push is an assault. Like if the cops come and you can be like, he
shoved me.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But now I'm gonna just start poking at eyes.
You might not get a favorable
Gouging out
ruling on
eyes?
that. Yeah. There's a point where you're supposed to stop fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah. There has to be some legality to that.
I'll be like, I just adhere to an
I
older.
think your life would have to be
law.
threatened.
Yeah.
And you're like, I didn't want to kill him, but I needed to maim him enough that he couldn't operate his like gun anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So eye gouging could be.
It depends on the circumstance, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
What I'm saying is it's not illegal.
But yeah, someone shoving you is assault because some asshole shoved somebody on 6th Street a few years ago and killed him.
Yeah,
He shoved him off a curb.
Cracked his head.
cracked
Right?
his
Yeah.
head, yeah.
Yeah.
Like an egg.
So,
Am I old now, or like I think I'm just old because I have an older cousin who's lived here for a while, and he's like, well, he told me this like 7 years ago. I was out to dinner with him, and he's like, well, I've heard 6th Street's just crazy now, and I was like, well, I'm on dirty like every weekend, and it's fine.
were we just blind to the fights and crime
I
that were
know.
happening? Yeah.
Or I mean,
The
like,
shootings, yeah.
Yeah.
dude, do you remember when the X Games was here?
Yes.
The dirty ass motherfuckers that were all over Dirty Six. Like, just, I mean, like, if you wanted to get a skateboard to the dome.
It was there. It was
Yeah.
there for it.
Oh,
They were waiting.
Bouncer those poor bouncers.
What are you talking about? Those guys were pumped.
No, they were ready to fight.
Yeah. The coolers just waiting in the back.
Those are the
Yeah.
rough and tumblers now. Those bouncers will fuck you up.
The
and
bouncer
then literally just use like, I don't know, property rights of their job. Like, I honestly, like, a normal person could not get away probably with gouging eyes, but I think a bouncer could.
You know about coolers, right? In the bouncer world, there's like always the big guys at the front. Then there's that little guy that's just quiet in the back watching.
I know, like, Patrick Swayze was literally a cooler
Oh yeah,
in Roadhouse.
yeah. Like that's a real thing though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's always that guy in the back. That you're like, that guy's kind of small, but he looks stout.
But
he's
also,
not doing a lot. He's gonna fuck you up.
You should honestly never get in a fight in Austin or San Diego because everyone can fight here.
Dude, you just
Like
should.
any place with this amount of, 10 planets,
Yeah,
stay away. Everyone trains.
it's insane.
But that's our episode for today. Again, make sure to check out patreon.com/softcorehistory. I have a really good episode on just Jewish massacre.
Just, how everything you think you've heard in history, everything you think you know is like, yeah, I know about the Holocaust. I know about, Egypt.
There's a lot
From
more.
the Old Testament.
There's a lot more blips.
There's a little we call
Things
her in,
happen between them.
Yeah, we call her in the lines between
Yeah.
the fucking two of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been persecuted forever.
Ever,
Yeah.
for fucking ever.
About time you guys admitted it.
By us.
Yeah.
And
Although
then,
Dan's trying to fucking steal valor.
Yeah.
listen, DNA, don't lie.
Sure. The
Yeah,
mouth
why
swab you
not?
did. Yeah.
Softcorehistory.com for merch. We're definitely going to have to make that T-shirt now.
The
The Rough and Tumble tee.
Rough and Tumble,
Yeah.
1792.
1792, Wheeling, Virginia.
Just a guy like yanking a scrotum.
I'll try to come up with some cool designs.
We'll have to think of a good slogan.
Yeah.
Like,
And then leave a review if you can. 5 stars.
Please.
On Apple. Actually, writing a review helps us out a lot. And then just 5 stars on Spotify. Super easy. Yeah. We appreciate you tuning in every week. Hope to earn your business moving along. We love to grow the podcast. Tell a friend about the podcast. That's the best way to grow this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, thank you for joining us today. I'm Dan Regester. That's Jay Goldman. That's Rob Fox. And you just got soft served.